characteristics of a cornet virtuoso.
I don't know if I understand you entirely.
Why, if your son has the same firm chin, oh, and those splendid cheek muscles, by George. Not that he could be very good, you understand, but he has...
And you can name a seat, Bridget, why not?
Well, you see, all the great cornet players were Irish. Oh, Clark, oh, Mendez, oh, Klein.
But, Professor, we are Irish.
No! No! Well, that clinches it. Sign here, Miss Paroo. That will be $7 import fee. Fine, fine. That'll be $7 earnest money, too. Nothing more due until the first installment payable at the opening of band practice. Oh, thank you. And, of course, I'll need the boy's measurements for his band uniform.
His uniform?
Ah. Hello, son. Why, of course, his uniform. And there won't be a penny due until delivery, which gives him 4 weeks to enjoy, to anticipate, to imagine at no cost whatsoever. Never allow the demands of tomorrow to interfere with the pleasures and excitement of today.
What, how about,
A stripe? Certainly, my boy. A live red stripe on each side. What do you think about that?
You'll have to excuse Winthrop, Professor. We can't get him to say 3 words a day, even to us. And if you can get him to play in the band, you'll have St. Michael's own way with you. But if anybody can do it, I'll bet you can. Where are you from, Eva?
Gary, Indiana.
I knew it! Where'd you say?
Gary, Indiana. In fact, Gary Conservatory was my alma mater.
Was she now?
Yes, a gold medal class of '05. How do you do, Miss Paroo?
How do, Mr. Hill?
Of course, Paroo. I thought the name sounded familiar.
He wants to put Winthrop in the band.
We're not interested, Mama.
But Marian, he might have his father's musical gift. He does have my joy.
Your husband is musical? Well, I'd like to have a talk with him.
Do you burst into everyone's home like this, prying into personal affairs? We're not interested.
Now, Marian.
Well, that's 1 for and 1 against. Now, why not let the boy's father decide?
The boy's father is dead. Anything else?
Oh, well, I'm sorry. But that's all the more reason that your brother should have something like this.
My brother is a 10-year-old problem child who can't understand why his father was taken away. Would you care to explain it to him? He has been brooding about it for 2 years now. And as to your musical tricks, why don't you go into business with some nice carnival man who sells gold-painted watches and glass diamond rings?
Musical tricks? Why, Miss Marian, I hardly... You know, I get the feeling she likes the idea. Oh, a bit cautious at first, but I admire that. I admire that in a woman. Just keep me alive and I'll be back later in the week.
Professor, about the boy's measurements. I make all his clothes. Sleeve 21, waist 14, crouch 14.
Fine, fine. That's all I need. Now I must get back to the hotel.
You'll have to excuse Marian, Professor. She's not really...
Don't worry about a thing. I'm sure that at heart, she's as lovely as yourself. Good day to you, widow Paroo.
Has he gone?
He has, and I hope not forever. Darling, don't you ever think of your future? Gary, Indiana Conservation Class of Art 5. Now, darling.
Now, Mama, surely a girl's future does not depend on encouraging every fast-talking, self-centered, woman-chasing traveling man who comes to town. And the fact that he claims his commodity is music does not, in this particular case, impress me.
All right, darling, all right. But it's a well-known principle that if you keep the flint in one drawer and the steel in another, you'll never strike much of a fire.
Winthrop, I know you're there. Would you please go to the library and ask Miss Grubb for the book I set aside? It's the large brown volume with the black corners. It's the Indiana State National Journal. Do I have to? You won't have to talk to anybody. I've written it all down. It's on the table.
And take these in for me, dear. Thank you. Now, what are you up to? What do you need with a book at this hour?
I think the Indiana Journal may help me poke some large holes in the professor's plans.
Well, I give up. And if you don't mind my asking, at your age, what sort of white knight do you expect to come riding along?
Well, I'm not waiting for Luther Granger, who backs me into the ancient history aisle every time he comes into the library.
He does.
Or Ed Damage with that buggy of his with the removable back seat. But I'm not waiting for some knight in shining white armor either. My white knight, not a Lancelot, nor an angel with wings, just someone to love me, who is not ashamed of a few nice things. My white knight, what my heart would say, if it only knew how. Please, dear Venus, show me now. All I want is a plain man. All I want is a modest man, a white man, a gentleman, a straightforward and honest man. To sit with me in a cottage somewhere in the state of Iowa, and I would like him to be more interested in me than he is in himself, and more interested in us than in me. And if occasionally he'd wonder what makes Shakespeare and Beethoven great, him I could love till I die. Him I could love till I die. My white knight, not a Lancelot, nor an angel with wings, just someone to love me, who is not ashamed of a few nice things. My white knight, let me walk with him as the others ride by, walk and love him till I die, till I
It's all very good.
Anita, please, Anita.
Tommy, how about Mama right over there?
All right, then meet me after supper.
I can't. It's Epworth League night. Meet you where? You see, isn't that just what I said? Last time the lumberyard and now the Stockbridge. Where will you meet me after that? In the Black Hole of Calcutta? Quiet!
I only wanted to show you my invention.
What invention?
My music holder for Martin Piccolo player. It's still a couple minor flaws. When you keep it tight enough to hold the music steady, you cut off circulation, and you can't wiggle your fingers. Meanwhile, you can go blind.
Tommy, it's Papa!
What? Is that the first thing I said or not? Yes, what? Yes, the very first thing I said, or I'll even pay for it, of course. Get that spellbinder's credentials, I said. Morning of July 4th, 1912. And now what? My wife is up dancing at me in all hours and sending me home. Yeah, sure! School board is singing up the street and down alley. Instead of thinking the city matters, my only girl's booming around some wild kid from the wrong side of town. And my business has fallen so far I can't find the barrel cheap.
Mansion, I found something very interesting in this book about Professor
main instruments.